Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing my April wrap up. In the month of April, I read a total of 5 books, and I thought that I didn't have the best reading month, but then upon reflection, I realized that I had a pretty decent reading month, except 2 books that I was kind of hoping I would really enjoy. I ended up not liking at all, so that was a little bit unfortunate. But let's just get into the books that I did read this month. The first book I read this month was Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. This is about a woman named Louisa, and Louisa begins work as a caretaker for Will Traynor, who used to be a millionaire socialite, but after an accident, he is now paralyzed. He's a quadriplegic, basically. And she begins kind of taking care of him. And soon she learns that Will Traynor's family is harboring a dark secret, and Louisa wants to do anything she can to change that. This book is absolutely heartbreaking, but wonderful. I actually still have not watched the movie trailers for that, so I need to do that, and I still really want to do a trailer reaction even though the movie is coming out soon. I'm really excited to see the movie. I did a non-spoiler review of Me Before You, which I will leave linked so that you can check it out if you want to hear more about my thoughts and feelings on this wonderful book. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. The next book I read was This Is Where It Ends by Marieke Njikamp. This is about a school shooting. It takes place over the course of 54 minutes when the school shooting is occurring, and it's told from 4 different points of view. I gave this book 3 stars, and actually I could probably knock it down a little bit lower, but it still covered a really important topic, so I didn't want to knock it down too much. I really didn't care for this book at all. The characters seemed forced. It seemed like the author wanted to add diversity for the sake of having diversity, which is never a good thing, and even more disappointing, that author is a really big advocate for more diverse books in YA, so I'm a little disappointed about that. I did a non-spoiler review on this one as well. If you want to know a little bit more about reasons why I didn't particularly care for this book, I'll leave that video linked as well. Next, I read Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Semple. This book is about a woman named Bernadette, and Bernadette suffers from pretty severe social anxiety. When the family decides to go on a trip to Antarctica close to Christmas, Bernadette goes missing, and the family is kind of left to pick up the pieces, so B, her 14-year-old daughter, weaves together this book using memos, emails, things of that nature to weave together what led up to Bernadette's disappearance. This book was so good. I laughed a lot. It's a really good commentary on society, which I really enjoyed. I loved it. I loved it a lot. If you haven't read Where'd You Go, Bernadette, I highly recommend picking it up because it is so good. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I also read The Thing About Jellyfish by Allie Benjamin. This is about a girl named Susie whose best friend Franny dies in a drowning accident, and Susie becomes fixated on believing that it wasn't an accident, that Franny had been stung by a jellyfish. So this has a lot to do with jellyfish, which is good because it's on the cover, but so many times there are books that have these kind of abstract titles and have nothing to do with what they're talking about, so I found it really refreshing that jellyfish played such a large part in this book because I love jellyfish so much. I think they're beautiful creatures, and this one was really sad but really important too. I thought that it handled the topic of grief and moving on in a really unique way that's important for younger readers. I did find this in the children's section of Barnes & Noble, but I've also heard it talked about in YA, so it does cover such a large age range, and I definitely think that this is a really important book to read. I loved it. It's absolutely beautiful. The cover is amazing. Everyone should read this book. It was so good. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. And the last book I read this month was Forgive Me, Leonard Peacock by Matthew Quick. This is about a boy named Leonard Peacock, and he decides that he is going to kill a classmate and then kill himself. This book takes place over the course of that day where he is going through trying to tie up any loose ends. Even though this is also a really important topic, and it is definitely the epitome of the fact that everyone is fighting a battle that you know nothing about, I did not like this book at all. I gave it 2.5 stars. I had a really hard time getting into it. I really felt like I was forcing myself to get through it. Overall, I basically just tolerated this book. The author had a really interesting use of footnotes, which I don't think worked for me at all. The narrator came off as very pretentious. Even though he was going through some very difficult things in his life, I still don't think that that should justify some of his actions in this book. He borderline sexually assaults a female that he doesn't really know at all. You just want to root for so many characters, and you hope that one of the characters will intervene in Leonard's life and help him out a little bit, and then when one does, he ends up reacting to something else in a negative way, and I didn't really like that at all. Like, there were so many things about this book that bothered me, and I feel like it should have ended up being full of hope, and it didn't, but maybe that was the point. And then there were these weird letters that Leonard was writing to himself from his future self that was suggested by a teacher of his to help him cope with whatever was going on and help him kind of hang in there and get through his days. But those were really weird too. I just didn't get it. I don't know. I might be being a little too critical of it. I really just didn't like it though. And that is it for my April wrap up. If you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more bookish videos. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!